I'm Mark Murphy, and this is Reggie Reeves. I'll try to give you a quick little introduction here. And the good thing about this is Reggie and I probably both have two different approaches. This Reeves with what I tell you, or needs to add anything to it, you can chime right in. Now, basically what we tried to do today, I know Reggie both started gardening at about the same time. And we also found that as we were experimenting with growing new things, and you know, we'd grow something and then we'd wonder what to do with it. So, you know, we started trying to find recipes for different things to kind of expand our horizons. And so what we tried to do here today is bring you some recipes that you might enjoy, that might help you use some of your garden produce. And also within each recipe, we tried to pick out an ingredient and focus on it a little bit and give you some tips and some pointers that maybe, you know, help you with growing those in your garden. So, does that sound about right to you, Reggie?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, I started out here, and it's about right for this week. I don't think it's going to be quite that bad, but you know, 5 years ago, we had 5 and 6 years ago, we had some spells with some really intense heat waves that were, you know, up over the 100-degree mark. And you know, a lot of times this time of year, July and August, a lot of gardens get abandoned to the weeds, you know, because it just gets too hot to be out there. Well, the solution to that I found is 5:30 a.m. And I'm not kidding. If you can get out at dawn and get in your garden, it is the most pleasant time, especially this time of year. Everything's quiet, and the birds and critters are just starting to stir. And if you think about it, when you're in the middle of a heat wave, that first time in the morning at dawn like that is going to be the coolest part of the day, because it's had all night to cool down and get as cool as it's going to get. And you know, usually it'll be upper 60s, maybe low 70s at worst. And you know, you can get out and have a good half hour, whatever you can squeeze in. And you know, usually by then it's only 6:30, 7 o'clock. You still got time to come in and, you know, put you some peppers that you got out of the garden in an omelet, make you some breakfast and clean it up and get to work. And, you know, so it's just a wonderful time to get out. And I found that what I was doing a lot, when I'd get out the garden early like that, I'd grab a granola bar or something heading out the door, so, you know, I could just grab something quick, but, you know, still have a little bit of energy to get me going in the morning. And then I got to thinking, well, how about making my own granola bars instead of, you know, buying them and having all this packaging and, you know, just you know, being stuck with whatever, you know, the manufacturer decides to put in it. I figured, well, I could make my own. So I started kind of researching recipes for granola bars, and I found that most of them use sweetened condensed milk as the binder, you know, as the thing that holds it all together. It's real common. And that's okay. But sweetened condensed milk has a lot of sugar in it. 1 can of sweetened condensed milk has over a cup of sugar in it. And I thought, well, what can I do to make this maybe a little bit healthier, since, you know, I'm trying to grow all this good produce and eat healthy, you know. I'd like to make some homemade granola, but I don't want it to be real sugary. Well, I found, started with this, a substitute that you can make for sweetened condensed milk. Use eggs, brown sugar, flour. Now this recipe still has a cup of brown sugar. So I thought, well, that's an improvement. At least I'm not, you know, getting that flash hydrated milk and stuff in there. You know, maybe it's a little bit healthy and you get some protein from the eggs and what have you. Well, I wanted to see if I could cut the sugar down in that some. And what I found out was that if I added another egg, I could get a good binder to make granola bars, and I could actually cut that sugar in half. So I came up with this variation on that kind of standard sweetened condensed milk recipe, and I started using this variation. So again, you got some good eggs. You know, if you've got chickens at home, you've got some really good, healthy eggs. But eggs in general aren't bad for you. And again, I was able to cut that sugar down in half, basically, from what you'd have, you know, just used a can of sweet condensed milk. So I felt pretty good about that, at least getting the sugar content down a little bit, make it a little more healthy. And this is kind of my standard granola bar recipe. It's based on oats, 3 cups rolled oats. And then I use a lot of tree nuts, almonds, pecans, walnuts. Those are really good for you. They have real healthy fats in them. There was a recent study on that I saw on CBS News about a month ago. They had done a big cancer study and found that tree nuts were really beneficial for helping you avoid cancer, especially colon cancers and things like that.
So is coffee.
Yeah, so it's coffee.
Red wine and dark chocolate.
Saw that on CBS News too. But so that's my kind of standard recipe there. And the good thing about it is you could substitute anything in that you want to. You know, instead of having the dried cranberries from the store, you know, if you have blueberries that you're growing at home, blackberries, raspberries, you can put those in there. Pretty simple to make. You basically just make that sweetened condensed milk substitute that I had there, showed you first. You just mix all that up in a bowl, add all that stuff to it, mix it all up. Take you just a standard 13 by 9 glass pan and line it with parchment paper. Spread that in there and just bake it in the oven. Real simple to make, and it's something that you can, you know, make, cut it, keep it in the refrigerator, and you've got your own granola. You know, you can just grab, you know, something instant gratification.
I had a question. On your variation, it doesn't have vanilla in it.
Yeah, you know, that's just a personal thing. Myself, I don't particularly care for vanilla extract. I think it tastes chemically to me. That's just me. So if you like that flavor in it, go ahead and add the vanilla. I just usually leave it out.
Okay. How healthy are peanuts?
They're very healthy as long as you're not allergic to them. And especially, great question, because that's the ingredient that I wanted to focus on here. That is ingredients you can put in this that you can grow in your own garden. A lot of people don't think about growing peanuts at home, but they're actually very easy to grow at home. And there's a Tennessee red peanut, an old heirloom peanut, right here out of the state that grows fantastic in this area. You can get these seeds from several places. This Baker Creek Heirloom Seed is one seed company that sells it. A lot of people are familiar with Baker Creek. I think Southern Exposure Seed may also have, but you can just go online and type in Tennessee Red Peanut and it'll pull up several sources.
I don't want to get you off subject, but I tried to grow some Tennessee Red peanuts in my class, and we tried it in a plant tower, and they came up and got about that tall, green as all could all, and then it just died. Now, did I do something wrong or?
Say a plant tower should be one of those structures.
Yeah, under light, yeah.
Okay. I think I can explain that one to you. Your peanuts, you want to have them in the ground. I don't think they'll work in a tower, and I'll tell you why. You want to put them in the ground, you want them to end up about 4 to 6 inches apart. They do germinate really well, so you could probably just space them. You actually, when you plant them, when they send you the seed, they send you the actual peanut because that's the best way to store them. And right before you plant them, shell them out of the nut and leave that membrane on there though, like the Tennessee Red has that little red membrane on the outside of the seed there. So you just open them up and that's your seed that you're going to stick in the ground, the actual peanut. Just leave that little red membrane on there. You don't peel those off or anything.
Are roasted peanuts healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the manufacturer and what they're doing to them and how, some of them they add a lot of sugar and things too, so some of them may be healthier than others. And you can roast these at home too, just in the oven if you want to. So again, they do germinate pretty well, so you'd probably be pretty safe just to go ahead and space the seed 4 to 6 inches apart, just let it come up. But if you want insurance and you plant them a little closer together, if they come up like 2 inches apart, then just thin them out to about 4 to 6 inches apart. The other thing that's neat about peanuts is they're a legume. They'll fix nitrogen from the atmosphere and store some nitrogen in your soil. So, even if you don't like peanuts or something, you might even just want to grow them sometime as a summer cover crop, just to let them add some nitrogen to your soil.
How many peanuts can you get off of one plant?
A bunch.
Really?
I'll show you a picture here. This is basically what they look like when you pull them out of the ground. They just kind of come out in a big clump. And just one little peanut seed, it'll make a whole big cluster of nuts like that underground. Probably the reason they didn't work in your tower is what happens, the plant comes up, and I guess most of them are yellow. I know this one is, they set like a little yellowish orangish flower on them. Well, there's a little stem or scape that comes out of that flower and actually goes into the ground, and that's where the peanuts form. So probably you had them in that tower, and if they did set the scapes out, they had nowhere to go.
I think they never got big enough either.
They may not
Maybe I
have-
should have transplanted them after they come up.
There may not have been enough soil structure there to support them or something. They need a good loose soil. You want a nice, well composted garden soil, because you don't want to try to grow them in a real rock hard clay soil, because you want those little scapes or stems to come out. You want them to be able to kind of tiller themselves down into the ground.
Plus, we were under lights,
Okay.
inside.
Gotcha.
So I was looking at all those things, and I was thinking, I was really wanting them to work, but maybe next year I'll try to do some outside.
Yeah, just move them out in the ground, because they must have not been happy in that town.
Yeah.
But that is basically it. Now, the commercial growers, what they do is grow the peanuts and they let frost kill them. They just wait till the end of the year and let frost get them and kill them. And then they actually watch the weather forecast, because they don't want them to get rained on. They'll catch a spell where it looks like it's not going to rain, at least for 2 or 3 days. Of course, they come through mechanized equipment that turns them all up out of the ground. And they let them lay out in the sun for 2 or 3 days to kind of dry, and then they come through and harvest them. Now, at home, you don't have to wait that long. If I remember correctly, it's about a 90 to 100 day maturity on the Tennessee Red. It'll tell you on the package. If I'm wrong, just go by what they tell you on the package. So you could make a note on the calendar the day that you plant them, and then when about 90 to 100 days are up, if you're ready to harvest them by then, you can go ahead and harvest them. Now, you do want to get them out of the ground. Basically, you just lift them out of the ground, shake the soil off of them, and you want to get them dried out. You don't want to stick them in a box or something when they're still moist, because they'll mold. What I do when I pull mine out of the garden, I just lay out a tarp, and I pull them out and toss them on that tarp and spread them out and let them lay in the sun for at least a day, maybe a day or two. And if it's a real humid time of year, or it looks like it's going to rain on you, then I'll just go ahead and remove the peanuts from the plant after they've laid out in the sun a little bit. I'll go ahead and just pluck the peanuts off and just take them inside, put something and spread them out. That's what I do.
Now, each peanut inside the shell will make one plant, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Each one of those is your seed. Each individual peanut. So in each one of these, you'll have 2 or 3 or 4,
Right.
Individual peanut in each shell. Any questions on peanut? And I just grow them in just a little raised bed. I've got a little 4x4 and 4x8 raised beds that I grow them in. So it's not something you don't have to feel like you have to have a field full of them or something. You know, you just grow them in a small space and just, you know, try them as a hobby thing if you want to. They're really tasty, you know, when you grow them.
And if they've already been roasted, they won't work, right?
Right, you have to
Yeah,
have, if you
yeah.
don't, you could go to the store and just get some raw peanuts and plant them. I recommend that you actually get the seed stock from the seed seller though, because then you know it's, you know, disease free and it's one that's gonna, again, this is a variety that'll grow well in this area. There's actually 4 different types of peanuts, and they recommend Valencias to grow in the home garden because it's just a good variety that does well. But there are other varieties of peanut that typically will do better for the commercial growers. So just get you some of those Tennessee Reds or another Valencia type. I tried another one this year that looks real similar, except the skins or the whatever you call them on the seeds there on the peanuts are black. It's called Sconsus Black Peanut. It's another Valencia type, but just a selection. It's a different color, a little different flavor.
How late can you plant peanuts?
Again, if I'm not mistaken, and just check me when you get your seed or look them up online, I think it's about a 90 to 100 day maturity. So I mean, you could probably slip some in right now, as long as you got that 90 to 100 days before frost hits. You'd be safe.
I think our first frost date's averaging October 15th, is that right?
Yeah, so we
So
would
just
have
count
time.
back 100
Yeah.
days from October 15th.
Yeah. So we would have time. That's great. Yeah.
All right. Mr. Reggie?
Okay, thanks. How many of you guys garden right now, by the way? Okay. How many of you grow okra? Okay. How many people like okra? Anybody that doesn't like okra?
Me and all the deer.
Okay.
That would depend on if it's fried or not.
Exactly. A lot of people don't care for okra because it's slimy if it's boiled or if it's steamed too long.
I like fried okra.
Well, we're going to show you a lighter version of fried okra here.
Cool.
And
Oh,
Mark's
I
program,
like
do it.
Oh, I said I like that. I would try.
And Mark's lead in was a great idea. A lot of times as gardeners, I think we tend to grow the same, I don't know, a dozen or so things over and over and over and over. And it's always fun to experiment and try new stuff like peanuts. Like I'm guessing maybe you're fooled with them, but I bet nobody else has grown peanuts before. So why not? And it's a great way to expand and try different things. So as gardeners, it's easy to get that kind of gardening rut and you're just doing the same stuff all the time. And so part of what this is about is maybe some new crops. Okra's not a new crop, but different ways of cooking things. So okra is of course related to the hollyhock and hibiscus. You can tell by the flower. It looks like the hibiscus flower. Beautiful, very ornamental. It originated from northern areas of hot northern areas of northern Africa, and it really thrives in hot, dry weather. So summertime, midsummer is perfect around here for okra. It was brought to the U.S. in the 1960s. It likes full sun, will-drained soil, and again, hot weather. The hotter the better. It may grow up to 6 feet tall, so be careful where you plant it. And think about when you plant your garden, if you're going to plant okra, make sure you're not going to plant it where it shades things that are much lower than it. So think about where you put it. The perimeter of the garden is a good place, but be careful where you put it as far as what other crops it's going to shade out. You can sow the seeds directly in the garden about 2 weeks after frost. Okra and eggplant as well that I'll talk about next after Mark goes again. Both grow very similar. They like hot, humid weather, and they do really well when it's very warm. So as gardeners, sometimes we get too big a rush to plant things in the spring. So you don't want to put things like okra, eggplant, even tomatoes don't like to start off and have their feet in cold soil. So we get anxious sometimes. I know I'm bad about it, but with some crops, you're best to wait until well after, at least 2 weeks, if not 3 or 4 weeks after the last frost to really get that warm soil. Sow the seeds about 1 inch deep, thin them to about 18 inches apart. And to get my readers going here, about a dozen okra plants, as you guys know, is enough for most people. And then once it gets going, it's going to be producing okra like crazy. You're just going to have hordes of it coming in. Anybody grow, let me hold on just a second on that. And this is from Stutter and Seed Savers Exchange. Okay, when you harvest the okra, and if you're growing okra, then you know you don't want to let them get too big. About 3 inches is about as big as you want to let them get, especially the green Clemson spineless okra. The red okra that I'll talk about in a minute can get a little bit longer. The bigger it gets, the harder it's going to get. And if you can't easily slice it with a knife, just toss it in the compost bin. Store okra in like a paper sack is good in the crisper drawer of your refrigerator. It doesn't do well on the counter. It needs to be kept cool, and it won't keep very long. It's a very perishable crop. Okra really doesn't have very many pest concerns to deal with. You will get some what's called pod rot sometimes when it's really hot and humid, or that sometimes that flour will fall and stick to that pod and won't come off, and it'll stay real moist and start to rot the okra pod. Just pick it off. But you'll also see ants on okra. They're after the sap that comes from the pods and flowers. They're not hurting the plant, but you might see them all over it sometimes. And okra plants have small spines or hairs on the stalk and the limbs. And for some people, it causes a rash. When you reach in there and you're picking that, it'll scratch you a little bit and that'll break out on some people. So if that's a problem for you, just wear a long sleeve shirt. I just deal with it. I reach in there and pick them, and then I itch for a few days. So I do that. So let's talk about a couple of different kinds. Anybody grown red okra or crimson okra? Wonderful. We think of okra, we think of green okra. That's the normal Clemson spineless. I'll touch on that in just a minute. But green okra really makes a nice presentation on the table. A good one is bowling red okra. Bart was talking about how long it takes the peanuts from planting to maturity. Okra is about 57 days. It's a very productive variety of okra. It's an heirloom variety. It has long, slender, real slender pods. And what I found is that those pods on bowling green, bowling red okra, and also crimson okra or burgundy okra, when they get longer, they don't tend to get woody as fast. So we found that, when okra's coming in, it's really coming in fast. And sometimes you can miss a day or two, and something that might have been that long is that long, after a day or two. But where I find that the Clemson spineless green okra tends to get woody if it gets very long, these tend to stay tender a lot longer on the plant. Don't let them grow that long, but if they do, you can probably use more of these than you can of the traditional green okra. And again, this is from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. This is a tall plant, 7 to 8 feet tall. If you look at the seed packet or look them up online and read about them, and you've got a small garden, you don't want something really that tall in there, you can find some shorter varieties that are about 4 to 5 feet tall. Another one that everybody has probably grown is the Clemson spineless, 4 to 7 feet tall. The pods, again, will get a little bit woody if it doesn't stay on there too long. But this one is called Clemson spineless, and it just doesn't have as many of those fine hairs on it to make you break out. A little bit, but not much. Most people aren't going to be bothered by Clemson spineless when they're picking, hence the name. So it's a little bit easier on your arms when you're picking. Again, that's from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. So let's talk about fried okra. A couple of ways. Some people like boiled okra. Anybody like boiled okra in here? Don't find many people that do. It's that slimy texture that it gets.
The type of stew that my mother-in-law makes, it's kind of it's boiled in.
Yeah.
So
This is a real easy way to do oven fried okra. It's like eating popcorn. Another quick way to do okra, if you've got like a handful of pods and you want to have some steamed on the table for dinner, if you put it in a steamer basket and steam it for just about 3 or 4 minutes, just long enough to tenderize it, but not so long that it starts to get slimy. They're really good like that. Just a little bit of sea salt on top is all I do to them. Just 3 to 4 minutes steam. We also grow black-eyed peas, and so we'll cook black-eyed peas, in a pot on the stove, and right toward the end of it, we'll lay some okra pods on top and let them steam in the black-eyed peas. So steamed okra is very good. If you don't like it slimy, just steam it just enough to barely tenderize it. But this is like eating popcorn, and I won't even call this cooking. It's so easy. You need about a pound of okra, a little olive oil, some sea salt, black pepper, and a little cornmeal. Very easy. So preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Slice the okra into roughly 1/2 inch pieces. And if you're doing the red okra and the green okra, and if you're growing okra, go ahead and grow both colors. It just makes a nice presentation on the table. So we always grow both red and green okra. And so we'll slice up some of both and use both for this recipe. So all you do is take all the ingredients that we showed you here, put them in a bowl, big enough that you can mix them in that bowl without them falling out everywhere. Mix them by hand or with a large spoon. Spread them evenly in one layer on a lightly oiled sheet pan. And then bake them for about 40 to 50 minutes. Turning them one time halfway through. If you like them really crispy, you can go a little bit longer. If you don't like them quite that crispy, take them out. But I promise you, it's almost as good as like traditional deep fried okra. You know, I love fried okra. It's like to die for. This is almost as good. It's so close that it's not even worth getting the fryer out. And it's a lot lighter, you know, very little oil on it. Stick it in the oven, it cooks itself, basically. Just be sure and turn it one time. And you can experiment with it. If you like it real crispy, like I said, go a little bit longer. If you don't like it quite that crispy, pull it out. So we pull it out, put it in a big, put some paper towels in a big bowl, and just dump it all in a big bowl. And it's literally like popcorn. And people would just munch on it like an appetizer or as a side dish with dinner. Yes?
Can you go back to the previous screen, please? Just
Yes.
because I don't have the recipe in here.
It's in order. Second phase.
You got it? Or did you get a bad copy?
Oh, it's right down.
Okay,
I'm
good.
sorry, I missed it.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
And you can play with that cornmeal, by the way. Make it first time like this. If you like more cornmeal on it, add a little more the next time. If you like less, just don't put as much on it. Same thing for the olive oil. You can play with that how much you want. So look, this is a recipe that's variable based on your taste, but extremely easy to do. Start it, let it cook while you're doing other stuff. Take it out, throw it in the bowl, put it on the table, and you've got a great appetizer. Okay, any questions on that?
I had something to share. I've had pickled okra.
Yeah.
At that Five Seasons restaurant, and it was really good. And also, I bought a little tool. My tool came from the Pampered Chef, but I bet you can get it somewhere else. And it's really handy for picking your okra. It's got a rounded edge on the end of it. It's not pointed like a knife. And the side of it is serrated, so you can stick it in your pocket.
Okay, that's
And then when
handy.
you go out there, you can get those pods real easy with your little knife, your little tool there.
And I'm glad you mentioned pickled okra. That's a whole different topic. Anybody here do any pickling? Not enough people pickle things. It's really easy to do. It's safe if you follow USDA procedures exactly. But pickled okra is great. I pickle okra too. And it's one good way to deal with that overabundance that you get sometimes. And put it in the pantry and then take it out when you got company over or whatever. It's a great appetizer. So look up, think about pickling some stuff. And if you do, try pickled okra. It's delicious. Okay, Mark.